Kelly Broken Carnivore here. I'm getting ready to travel to St. Louis to do a corporate training for a new software that we will be doing with the work orders, make readies, move in, stuff like that at the company I work for. As I'm getting ready to travel, I come up with something that been on my mind, and I wanted to share with you all, because not only a lot of us through the carnivore community and the carnivore people, or people on the carnivore diet, went through this, I as well, and it can get upsetting, it can get frustrating, and we can be a little impatient. And the one thing is about if your why is to lose weight, or if you're noticing that as you're healing on the carnivore diet, which I'm not consider the carnivore diet a diet, it is a healing journey. And for me, I have been on the carnivore diet for 412 days, and I have dealt with chronic inflammation. And this year, after being over 400 days, over 1 year on carnivore, I have felt my best in years. Matter of fact, this is the first time that I lost weight and actually the weight stayed off. I couldn't even do that with keto because I fell off of keto with the keto treats, keto cookies, all that stuff, and the keto breads when I discovered them. Because it said keto, and it's not keto. They just label them as keto and sell it as that, and they jack up the price. So this is the first time I actually got to keep my weight off. Not only I'm healing from the chronic inflammation, that's gone, but I have lost over 70 pounds. But, you know, this is what this video topic is about. And a lot of us has been through this. You will lose a lot of weight during this journey, and then all of a sudden you'll go to a weight stall and you get frustrated. I know, I've been there before. And the reason why we get there is because we see this tremendous weight loss, and all of a sudden our weight stalls. And so here's some things that I went through that I had to learn, because not only this is a healing journey, this is also a learning process. You start to learn about it. So here's some things that help me, that could help you if you go through this phase. Because when you stall, because you can stall for a long period of time. I was losing weight from day one of carnivore, July 26, 2024, to probably about February. The weight was coming off really fast. I was losing 10 pounds, 9 to 10 pounds a month. But then come February, the weight kind of stalled. The inches went down, some of the weight went down, but it really stalled. And yes, it got frustrating. You say, oh, great, here we go again. This diet is not working for me. I guess I'll give up. That's not the attitude to have. Because if you do that, then you're going to give up and you're going back to the old standard diet, and you're going to end up gaining all that weight, gaining all the inflammation, and even worse, you could be even twice as big, and you could end up with twice as much chronic inflammation, or chronically depressed, heart failure, diabetes, whatever it is that's your why, you gave up. And so here's some things that I would highly suggest and highly recommend, and take these ideas, because these are just ideas. And this journey here, because I am no medical expert, this is my journey, and I want to share it because it's helping me, and I want to use my journey to help you. So here's some ideas that could help you, that help me through, because I have been there. If you get frustrated, you lost a lot of weight, and you're going, and you're looking forward, and then all of a sudden you go through 1 month and your weight stalls. You go through another month and your weight hasn't changed. You go through another month and it's been 4 to 5 months and your weight hasn't changed, and you're frustrated. I know, I've been there. So here's the first one that I will say to recommend to do is, your body has lost a lot of weight. So now our bodies are very unique. So our body's catching up. So we have to be patient about it, and let our bodies catch up, and eventually the weight will come down. I mean, mine's starting to come down again, and it's been 5, 6, 7 months, from February to September now. We're in the middle of September. So, it takes time. The second one that we need to understand about is you need to trust the process, because we didn't gain weight overnight. Even though a lot of us had poor metabolic health, I had it very bad. The weight came on faster than it is coming off, but we have to remember, it didn't come overnight. This is a lot of years, so you have to, you have to trust the process, and, you may be just healing. And that's the one thing that leads to the next one that I recommend is, you're at a plateau. And your body is taking all the damaged cells out, and we're through a healing process. I'm not completely 100%. The chronic inflammation is gone, but I'm not 100% healed on my right hip. I still have a hip issue. I don't know if it is even damaged. So, I am trusting that process and letting it heal. And I care more about the healing about it, because this year is the first time that I can actually do more. I want to get out. I have more mental clarity. I let things go on this property I live on. And I usually, when I went keto and I discovered Dr. Berry 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, and I went the keto way, and I lost quite a bit of weight, and I had better clarity and clear mind. I had this place nice and clean. Well, when you start developing the chronic inflammation from the plants and the toxins, and then, of course, also when you get into those keto treats, or if you fall off, you'll start developing that chronic inflammation or whatever you're having. And for me, I got down to just under 300 pounds then in 2021, but now the weight started coming back up, and so is the inflammation. And when you are so sore, so hurting, chronically inflamed, you don't want to do nothing. All you want to do is sit and relax and take ibuprofen. I used to take 800 milligrams of ibuprofen twice a day. I also took the Voltaren, ibuprofen ointment, icy hot, all that stuff to try to relieve the pain, and it wasn't relieving it very well. But now, being over 400 and some odd days on Carnivore, I don't even take none of that. I hadn't took ibuprofen since I started Carnivore, and it's a huge difference. And like this last week, I took off work. I had a previous video where I was taking mulberry trees around buildings in the barn. I've been brush hogging. I still have that stuff, but that stuff right there during this process, why my weight stalled, I was very happy because my body is healing, and I rather have the healing, and my body's still healing, and I guarantee it'll still keep on healing as I progress in the days on the carnivore diet. And that's what leads me to the next one. You have to be patient, because when you're impatient, you're going to just get frustrated and give up. You just have to be patient. Any weight loss program, any diet, even the standard diet where you do calories restriction and you do, you eat a certain amount of calories, you still have to trust the process, and you still have to be patient, because it takes time. So you have to be patient. And then the other thing is this is the next one. You're probably losing inches and not realizing, since you have clear mental clarity and all that stuff, you may be gaining muscle mass because you're moving more, you're out moving, you're exercising, you're going for a walk, you can run, you can do sit-ups, you can do weights and stuff, and you're not realizing that even though your weight hasn't gone up or gone down, but you're losing inches, and the inches over pounds, inches over weight matters way more important than than trying to just lose the inches. And you got to remember, 10 pounds of fat is lighter than 10 pounds of muscle mass. Even though muscle mass is lean, but if your muscles are getting stronger, your muscle mass is going to weigh more. And so you may lost 10 pounds of fat, but you gain 10 pounds of muscle mass, and that's okay. And that's very, very good because we need that strong muscles. So remember that is even though you're losing inches and you're shrinking, but don't focus on that number. Focus on how you feel and stuff. So, and that's what, leads me to this next one. And this one here this is one I have to be careful on because, as it is classified carnivore animal-based food, that is dairy. Sometimes dairy can be inflammable. Dairy can cause issues. It can cause weight stall. If you drink milk, especially store-bought milk, not raw dairy, but raw milk, if you drink pasteurized milk, you got to remember lactose is actually a sugar, and you have carbs and you have sugar in milk, even in the raw dairy as well. And you have to remember that, you have to be careful. And I was big on cheese. I love cheese. I love cream. I don't drink milk. I hadn't drank milk since 2020, but I love heavy whipping cream. You got to be careful because this stuff is altered process. Some of this is processed because due to laws and regulations. You can't just go buy raw dairy in a grocery store because it is against the law, especially here in the state of Missouri. It is illegal. And I know most states are like that. So you have to go, if you want raw dairy, you either have to go to a pet store or you have to go to a farm that sells raw dairy. They can't come to you. You have to go to them because, these laws and regulations on this, because they get in a lot of trouble. So dairy is one of those that you have to be careful with because you can indulge in. I know I love cheese and I'll indulge in too much of it. And I'm like, whoa, I have to back off. And also remember, if you go to American cheese, it's not truly cheese, it's a processed cheese. So it's like a frankenfood. So if you do snack on cheese or you use it as a treat, please make sure it just says cheese or it's hard cheese. Don't get the processed junk. I do have a habit of sometimes eating that stuff, but I also have to be careful that I don't overindulge in the dairy, especially cream and the cheese, because it does affect it, and then it could cause weight gain and weight stalls. So that could be some of your problems as well. I know I've been there where I ate too much cheese and I have to watch it. And so the next suggestion, or the next thing that I will mention is you might want to change things up. If you are a person that's eating 3 meals a day, you might have to go and start tightening it up. That's what we call tightening up. Tightening up that window on the food, where you start taking wherever you start your first meal, you start pushing it back to your lunchtime meal, where you go to doing an intermittent fasting and you get to 2 meals. If you're eating 2 meals, maybe you tighten that window up more and shorten that window where you may go to OMAD. Or the best thing to do is do a fast. Start with 24 hours, start with 36, 48, short, where you don't eat, give your stomach a rest. 36 hours is where autophagy starts. And basically what we want to do on a fast is to give your body a rest, your stomach a rest, your gut a rest. So your body will start doing autophagy and your body will start really healing. And I have done a 36-hour fast before because I had to do a colon screening. But I am going to take Dr. Kiltz's challenge, and I'm going to try to I'm going to start in the week of October. I have never done a longer term fast more than 36 hours. I want to see how far I can go on that fast. If it's 3 days to 7 days, whatever it is. I'm gonna try to do it, and I'm gonna do it in the first week of October, and give myself autophagy, because I feel that really will help heal my hip. It will heal, areas that I still have to work, my foot, building up that autophagy, and that's what I want to do. So you need to change things up, because your body gets used to one thing, and if you continue doing that, you will have to, you have to change things up. So, the one thing that I highly recommend to do, this is the most important thing, is if you are to a weight stall and you are frustrated and you feel like, oh, it's hopeless, I'm going to tell you right now, don't give up. Don't give up, because if you give up, you're going to end up giving up and you're going right back to square one. And that's the one thing you don't want to do, because if you give up, then all that healing you've done, all that success you went through because you decided to make a change and you wanted to try this carnivore diet, and you noticed a tremendous amount of healing, but yet you're focused on that weight loss instead of the healing process, then you got to not give up. Trust the process, be patient, and it will happen. Tighten up if you need to, and just keep on doing what you're doing, and you will be fine. I've been over for 412 days, a little over a year and 1 month, and I am healing more and more every day. I'm feeling better every day, and where I'm down to 1 meal now, and maybe 2 meals, and it's usually a really tight window if I do 2 meals, and sometimes my second meal may not be as big. But the one thing, though, the final thing I would say is make sure you get your fat, plenty of animal-based fat, no matter what. Make sure you get that. We should be getting 70 to 80% of our calories from fat, because our fat is our primary fuel. We have 2 types of fuel: fat, carbs, but the carbs has to be converted over to fat so our body runs. So we primarily run off of fat. That's what the importance of insulin is. That's that hormone that converts the sugars into fat. It even converts the protein into whatever it needs to absorb. Whatever we don't use in protein, we absorb as sugar, and it converts to fat as fuel. And we have to remember that we need fat as our fuel. So there is my suggestions and my recommendations and my ideas that help me to get through this. And it's always going to be a lesson learned. You're going to learn throughout the years. I'm still going to be learning more. And this is why it's important to trust this process. Like always, let's be kind, be positive, have a good attitude, and encourage and support one another. Y'all have a great day. God bless.